episode of the Let's Talk Melbourne podcast from a rainy day in Melbourne on a Sunday morning. And today, my guest is. I would request her to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Ananya. I am a Melbourne-based publicist. I'm also a food blogger in Melbourne, and I'm just on my journey to exploring Melbourne. It's been 4 years now. It's lovely. And yes, that's about it.
And I'm really excited to have you on the podcast. I've been following your Instagram page, and I have to say, the content you put out is absolutely fantastic. And
Thank you.
that's why I wanted to have you on the pod. But before we get into the pod, before we get into the work you do, you have a very interesting story. So, and I want our listeners and viewers to sort of know this because I think it was fascinating when I know bits of it. I don't know the whole details. I'm hoping you can give me as much as you possibly are comfortable with. So you came here right before or during the pandemic.
Yeah.
You got stuck here.
Mm-hmm.
You met your husband.
Mm-hmm.
You married your husband. Mm-hmm. And you came here to visit your sister.
Yes.
And now I even realized that you married before your sister got married.
Yes.
How, you have to tell us. And by the way, she married an Australian husband. So during the pandemic, and the reason this is fascinating is because at the time we were all stuck at our homes and we were not really social or mobile as such, or we were not meeting many people. You met someone and married. That's amazing. So
but that's
tell me
also
more.
like when I was stuck for quite a while. I never intended to move here. I still tell my husband I want to go back. I even took him in October back to we went for the first time to India, and I think December this year, the last year, and that was just like for the look and feel of it. Let's see, we have so much convenience. It's so nice. Everything is great. I have my family there. Of course, he has his family here. That's one reason we would not move now.
Yep.
But I did give him an option. I was like, I just think life is better back home.
And what was his reaction?
He wasn't convinced when I used to say it from here.
Yeah.
But now that I took him and he'd had a look and feel of it, he sort of said, oh, maybe in 10 years you want to early retire there, something like that. I was like, maybe in 10 years I don't want to now.
True.
So I do things in the moment. That's the reason I am here.
Fair enough. That's a good point. So you live in the moment by the day.
I go by what's happening to me or what are the repercussions of me of the thing in the moment for me.
Gotcha.
So that's also one of the reasons I'm here. But no, of course I balanced things out and I weighed my reasonings to stay back or to go.
Yep.
So I did take I would say safer route for myself and for the relationship as well.
Oh, that's good.
I'd originally come to visit my sister.
Yes.
It was a family emergency sort of a situation. Okay. I was here for 2 weeks. And I used to not get the work I used to do back in India, taking holidays was not quite easy. And so I applied for it long ago and then we did I got the leave approved.
Yep.
Was here doing my time here, was about to go, and we were all hearing news of the pandemic being the situation going to be announced as a pandemic. It wasn't a pandemic by
at the time. Initially, yes.
28th February I'd come here.
Yeah.
And 16th of the March is what the pandemic was announced.
Yeah.
17th March was my flight back.
Yeah.
In the middle, while figuring out whatever our home situations were, and we were doing some personal stuff, I'd had the chance to visit Sydney for a weekend.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, I think I just picked a place to visit, which could have been a COVID hotspot.
Yep.
Ultra Music Festival.
Of course.
I was the most panicky one out of all of us in the family. That don't go here. Wear masks and sanitize your hands. This was before it was anything. They were making fun of me.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think I must have just saved them from the early virus.
Yeah.
And I just chose to go there.
So you saved them from wave 1, basically.
Sort of.
Yes.
But again, I also chose to go to that festival, which could have been a hotspot.
Nature.
Yes.
We can't.
I was like, okay, it's just a one-off thing, and I don't know when do I get to visit now since everything is going to get closed and stuff. So might as well just do it. After coming back from the festival, because I'm panicky in nature, I just thought I have COVID.
But did you have or did you just
No,
take?
I just thought because it's just I think the
Oh,
whole
okay. So it
panic.
was the overwhelming of
Yes.
being a hotspot and you
And I was
catching
like,
it.
okay, I think because I was seeing all the news coming from back home that um, people are not getting out of their flights. They've been taken straight away to quarantine centers and stuff. I was just scared that
Yeah.
what if I board this flight and I don't get home safe.
Correct.
So I was like, maybe if I would get my test done here and I go with a bit of documentation on me, I might save myself from that hassle.
Yeah.
To which I went to the COVID center, and back then they were only taking they were taking a week's time in for COVID tests to return.
Yeah.
So when I'd done my COVID test, I was told you have to cancel your flight. You can't. Now your test report will take a week.
Yeah.
You cannot board the flight. And I was like, okay, then when can I board the flight? But as the test report comes, then you can just board your flight.
Okay.
Fine.
So you stayed back for that.
I called my agent back in India. I was like, cancel my flight, book it for the next week.
Yeah.
And as soon as I have tests, I'll board the flight.
Yeah.
He did that. But then the flight started getting cancelled.
Yeah.
I cannot board the flight.
Yeah.
Now, because of the nature of my work back home, of course, I've worked as a artist manager, and all my artists were not shooting at that point. We were all home, but eventually I knew that the film shoots will start, and I had to go back. And
So it kind of worked out because everything was shut
they were
in
quite
essence, and
they were quite
supportive
supportive,
about
100%.
that.
Yeah.
It was interesting you say this because I had a complete opposite experience to you. I went to India to visit my grandmother,
Yeah.
and the day I was about to fly back to Australia, my flight got cancelled and the borders were shut, and I was
Yeah.
stuck there for 2 years. So while you
Yeah.
were stuck here for 2 years,
Yeah.
I was stuck in India for 2 years, and I was working from there remotely. But it's good that we've got supportive workplaces
Yes.
that enable us
Yes.
to do that. Yeah.
I think that helped quite a lot. Like really, I think one of the really supportive people I've ever worked with in my life.
Yeah.
I continued working, but the shoots were starting to go back. I've been a workaholic all my life. I think I would enjoy being there than here. And I was quite attached to all my artists. I was like, no, I want to be on the shoot. I'd be coming soon. So I tried. I kept applying
Yep.
for my flights. So apparently, as per the government rules, I wasn't eligible to go back in those help flights. I don't know
Okay.
what was it called. I forgot.
Repatriated flights.
Yeah. I can't. Like, I did not. I wasn't qualified for that because I had a family here. I had a home. I was safe. They said whenever the normal flights will go, then only you're allowed to go.
Okay.
And they like my visa was like automatically extended because of the whole COVID situation. So I wasn't worried about it. And then I think until October the flights were not open, and I just kept. I literally had helped my sister set up her new house and everything. It was quite good. Like I think we had a good time
Yeah.
as a family. And
Yeah.
then now in October when I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna finally go. She'd asked me to stop and say that, oh, you can stay for Diwali. First Diwali, new home, then go after. I was like, fine. And just then they've opened the first lockdown. So we're able to go out now. And I'd not been out in like 6 months. And I'm living in this really new town, like really new suburb. We don't have people around. So like I've had literally no contact apart from my sister and like a couple of friends who would time to time visit us. So I was like, okay, I'm in a new country. I
And-
haven't been out at all. I'd
you
like
go
to
out?
explore.
And is that when you meet your husband? Is it your first outing?
It is one of it's one of my the first dates out. Like first time I go out and meet someone in person was him.
Yeah.
I'd spoken to a couple of people. Of course, I joined Bumble. I was like, okay, like I'll go out, get a drink.
Yeah.
And but the first person I met, like in real life, and who said that, and who didn't say any sleazy stuff,
Yeah.
and who offered like,
Who was gentleman
yeah,
and chivalrous.
yeah, he actually
Yeah.
just, and we both made an effort to come out of a little of our comfort zones, which is like, I think we had a radius back then.
Yeah, 5
Yeah,
kilometers radius.
so I
yeah.
think one thing I've heard, like, one thing I've dealt here with is people, it's convenience is quite important to
Yes,
everyone. So
yeah.
he sort of just went out of it, which I liked about it. And we were talking for quite a while now. So I was like, okay, we'll get a coffee. And so we met at the Queen Victoria Market,
Okay.
and we went for a little picnic. And that's it. That day I met him, and I told him I'm going to go back. I'm here I was here for a short vacation, which is now turned into like the 6 month stay here.
Yeah.
But soon I'm going back.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, fine. The date went well. It was quite friendly. So I was like, it didn't look like a date to me, honestly.
Okay.
We had a few like drinks around, which is coffee and chocolates, whatever. Went back. First time someone had messaged by themselves.
Yeah.
After a while, saying that, hey, I loved it. I know it wasn't like a date, but I'd love to take you out again.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, that's cute. I'm still here for another couple of whenever I
Yeah.
get the flight, I'll
Yeah.
come. Then we
So it was very organic. It wasn't
quite
like
organic. I
Yeah.
think after a couple of dates, he just mentioned that, is there a possibility that you can stay? And I was like, no, there's a possibility that you can come back with me.
Yeah.
He's like, no, that's not a possibility at my end.
Yeah.
What can we do? And then I think because we've gone out a couple of times. I'd invited him for my Diwali celebration at home, and then he'd spoken to my sister straight away.
Okay.
He's like, I was like, yeah, if you can, like he just mentioned it to her like subtly that I think I like this girl and do you think we can do something about it? So then we three sat down and had a conversation. I was like, oh, okay, I have to figure stuff out.
It's interesting,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost like a
Like
movie.
an Aussie guy talking.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. I don't know of many.
Yeah, because I think he figured from our conversation, he must have
He figured out that there
that
is
she's not going to stay.
Yeah.
I can't convince her solely. I cannot convince
So
her to
you have
stay.
to sort of take.
I have to
measure.
take someone's help. That's
Yeah.
what I think. That's how he was smart enough. So he approached my sister.
You know what's interesting is also that it's an interracial marriage, right? So I'm sort of keen to know when from the time you were dating and when after you got married, what were some of the adjustments on both sides? Because of course there is a difference in terms of culture and probably not even for our generation of sort of we're pretty fluid,
Yeah.
I would say, in
Yeah,
terms
yeah.
of like adapting to whatever. But were there any differences that you picked up that where you had to adjust or where he had to adjust?
I think the adjustments were mostly on the side where culturally they came a lot later. I think after we got married.
Okay.
And when he was more introduced, we were both introduced. I was introduced to the family first.
Yeah.
Because of course they were available here. My family had to come. My family met him for the first time when I was getting married.
Yeah.
And then, I think culturally was a lot later. But initially I didn't feel like that. I think he's always been the kind of guy I would want to be with. So he would also like check a lot of lists. Like, we girls have like boxes.
Guys have to,
Yeah.
in their mind probably,
Really?
they don't write it down, I guess. Not all of them, some
No,
of
of
them.
course
do.
I've also not written it down ever, but I just
No,
know
I mean,
like
yeah.
and my boxes are very, I wouldn't say they're materialistic.
Yeah.
They're very personality
Driven.
driven. So I think that had been that had kept me away from like settling down
Got you. Yeah.
for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like I've dated in the past, and there'd been a point that now you think you can take a decision, you can get married, but I've always held my back.
But there was never a moment like where you're having breakfast and he's like, I want to have Vegemite and toast, and you're like, nah, I'm going to have dosa or upma.
The best thing about him is, I think, even if it's an interracial marriage, and we have our own taste and flavors, he's quite been adaptive to what I want to do.
Yeah.
And he would always offer me that, oh, we'll do what you want to do, but I always want to keep it balanced.
Yeah.
So I'd say, no, if I want to do something or if I'm eating something,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy for you to eat whatever. So we would pick specific places where we
Where
both
you both
could get
enjoy
yeah.
together.
And initially used to not have spicy food. Now he's grown his
Yeah,
palate.
I was
quite.
seeing on your Instagram he's eating chole bhature and stuff.
Oh, he
as well.
loves. I think
There
he.
you go.
I think eventually, and his only exposure to Indian food was butter chicken.
Of course.
His first question was to me when we started dating, "Do you cook butter chicken?" And I was like,
I know it's like
"That's it."
firstly butter
He's
chicken is not even an
obsessed.
Indian thing, but you can't blame them
Yeah.
because that's their only
Yeah, he's
point of
obsessed.
reference. Yeah.
And then when I made him butter chicken, he's like, "Now I can marry you."
There you go. So before we move on to the work that you do and the other aspects of it, and I'm really curious because I know a lot of friends and I know a lot of people who are interracial relationships, and I was wondering if you had your top 3 advice or tips for those people
Yeah.
who are in the early stages of their relationship,
Yeah.
and probably 3. I don't know if red flags is the right one, but 3 things to perhaps be aware of or avoid, if that kind of
I
makes
would
sense.
say not aware. I wouldn't call them red flags. I
Yeah.
would say, I think there are
No,
the
that's
red
okay.
flags in the relationship come at a very early stage,
Yeah.
and you not even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You pick them, but I think the best advice if you're in an interracial relationship, it would be more like being understanding of each other's space.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah.
I think that's number 1 rule. You cannot. There's no point you can pressurize someone into something.
Yeah.
Always be open. For open communication is important. No passiveness at all.
Yeah.
Like if you don't, communication is the key. Like you
Yeah.
have to tell them there and then if something has bothered you.
Yeah. And this goes both ways, right?
Both
Even-
ways,
yeah,
100%. I think keeping things to yourself would not lead you anywhere.
It's not good, yeah.
So that's the communication and being open about things. So I think that's the second thing. The
Yeah.
first is understanding each other's space.
Yeah. So number 1, space, then open communication.
Open communication, like open communication as in you've had an argument. I know some people want to go back and then come around,
Yeah.
but as early as possible you can sort that out. That's
Better,
something
yeah.
that is better, 100%.
Yeah.
And then respect towards each other's culture
Yeah.
or choices.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think if these 3 things are sorted, you can work it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, that's
never. There's no point. You can, like I'll give you an example. Like I've had friends in India. They would ask, and they would check, or they would have these questions like, how does the household finances work, or how does the household dynamics work? And I was like, it's like
It would be the same.
it says
Yeah.
it says it. I've heard someone said this. You've picked a roommate or a housemate for life. It is actually like that. It is like I think a lot of us have, and then of course there's love in there, but you have again communication is the key there. So you have to be very communicative of what you're doing, but there's quite understanding, a lot of understanding as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the dynamics are pretty much the same, and like I think there's no comparison, and do not compare. Yes.
That's a good point.
100%.
I think that's a very important
not
point. Do not
compare.
compare because you can't.
Yeah, 100%. I think that should have been the number 1. Sorry.
Yeah.
The first thing is leave all your expectations, what you had
Yeah.
in your culture from a partner, because it's going to be everything has to be
Very
new.
different. Yeah.
So whatever culture you're getting into, pick habits from there.
Yeah.
Which I think Shane and I have done. Like he's over time seen how sometimes some good things of in like an Indian partner. So he's I think picked from my friends and family, and he does that too now.
Yeah.
Like my dad makes my mom chai in the morning. That's just our household thing. And every morning he will get, and he used to make me coffee in general like that. Like my morning coffees, if he's home, he'll ask or he'll make it for me. But he would once a while or whenever, like if he wants chai, he will make it.
But will you be in a position where will I see a post sometime saying you're doing karwa chauth?
Yeah,
and
I've
you're
done.
doing- Oh,
I
you've
have.
done. Oh, okay, I haven't probably picked that
I've
up.
been very like I'm so proud of my culture.
Yeah.
And I made him. I would make him dress up for everything, and I think he enjoys it too.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I think most of my friends who
But
are
yeah,
outside-
but I think in first year I used to think like maybe I'm putting it on him like, oh, you have to do this.
yeah,
But So I didn't. So for the next year, I didn't mention things that
And if he enjoys it, he
Holi is
comes
coming or
back.
Diwali is coming. I gave him the first experience and then I let him talk about which festivals he liked.
Yeah.
So then he started asking me, when is Holi?
Yeah.
When is Diwali? What are we doing? Like, so these are the questions that came from him.
Yeah.
Instead of me saying that, oh, I have Karwa Chauth, I have to keep it.
Gotcha.
First year I told him I have to, like it's my first. And the next year we'll decide.
Yeah.
So then the next year he said, I don't want you to be hungry because the moon doesn't come on time
Yeah,
here.
in Melbourne especially,
Yeah.
yes.
So he's like, and last year he had pizza before me.
Yeah.
So I got a little upset.
So you can't make. Did you make him fast as well?
No, he's
no. Okay, that's what I was
But
like.
that's just like
Be respect, yeah.
be
I mean,
respect.
fine. That's okay.
But no, I think that was it. This year I was almost like not going to keep it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just keep it, but I would just break the fast. But I just like it, and
Yeah.
I intermittent fast. I don't mind fasting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
It's a very cultural
It's a very
thing.
cultural thing.
100%.
Yeah. And what are some of the things you've picked up from his culture or his kind of life?
I love the fact that their family. I think our family dynamics are completely different.
Yeah.
And initially, I thought I was a little taken aback. I was like, oh, I've never seen families around here, like they're very thick and quite communicative
Yeah.
and hanging out a lot more than we would go visit our families. So that was something initially I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I've seen that back home. Like in my family, of course Indian families are quite like that as well. But
Yeah.
we lived in nuclear family, so we were not. I wasn't like really aware or like I don't want to do it. It's not one of my personal choices.
Yeah.
But then I got to do it here and I started enjoying it. So I think hanging out with his family is one of the things that I love
Yeah.
now. And like even if he's not home or we're not doing stuff, I'd go just spend a day with his mother. Or
Okay,
yeah,
that's nice.
like we go out.
Yeah. So
We
you have your own personal relationship.
But it took time,
But
a lot
yeah.
of time. I think initially we were not that close, and they were also testing waters, and I tested my waters too.
Yeah.
But it actually you have to give it a lot of time. I
But
think
that
the
I-
openness is so important.
Yeah.
And once, of course, both of the parties see that it's mutual efforts, and then they want to give it.
I think that to an extent is with any like marriage, right? Like any relationship, but I think particularly when the cultural difference is there, you have to be a little, as you said, more patient, and you have to give it enough time for it to take its natural course.
When you asked what sort of things that I've picked from his culture, they're Swiss from the back. Their original background is Swiss
Yeah.
immigrants. Shane is the first
Yeah.
Aussie. Shane is like first generation Aussie here.
Yeah.
Parents are Swiss, and their culture is if they like you, they'll roast you.
Yeah.
They want a little banter with you.
Yeah. But that's quite Australian as well.
Yeah, but again,
Yeah. For you, it's a
for
whole
me,
new
it's
learning
new.
process.
Even if it's
Yeah.
Australian,
Yeah.
like it's new for me.
Yeah.
And initially, his dad used to roast me left, right, center.
Yeah.
And I used to go home upset every time. I think it happened for like at least 6 months. And then he said, if you really want to like have a good time,
Please eat as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
if you really want to do it, like you want a good time, you have to give it back. I was like, I can't. It's not in my culture. I can't insult my elders. Imagine. From that, like I will never talk back to my dad or anyone. Like it's just respectful.
Yeah.
And then I had to, and he would make jokes, and I was like, again. So I would keep shut. I think for a bit that happened, and then one day I gave it back, and we had a really good laugh, and I started enjoying it.
That's good.
So something, I think it was quite good. So
Yeah.
now like I think I have the best banters with his dad.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's the best. Like we really crack up. It's really good. So I enjoy it.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted to ask you was that in terms of your Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I'm just curious because there's so many, Instagram has become such a powerful tool for communication
Yes.
to reach an audience.
Yeah.
When you put out content, what are some of the things that you take into account? Are you self-aware in terms of like the content you put out, the curation you do, and what it means from your personal brand perspective? Just talk to us a little bit in terms of that.
Yeah.
And
So I've picked food as my
That's your main.
thing. Yeah, because I just love food. I think that's my love language.
Yeah.
Food, feeding
But that's the
people.
Desi thing. We just
Yeah, I
love
think
food.
it's Desi thing.
It's
Yeah,
we can
but
eat all time.
I just really enjoy it, and I think when I
That's
came
fine. Sorry, it's
when I
okay.
came to Melbourne,
Yeah.
and I realized that there are so many other cultures here, and they have such amazing cuisines that I can try. I just couldn't stop.
Yep.
So I just started documenting that, and then I think I started enjoying it, and then I'm more of I love supporting businesses.
Yeah.
I think that was also one of my
That's
things.
good.
That's what I started doing, blogging and going out and talking about
Food.
and restaurants, because I think because I did a chef course while I was here.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
here.
you
So
mentioned.
I'd worked in hospitality for a bit, and I saw personally how much they suffered,
Yeah.
and that was my way to give it back and
Yeah.
just see that, just help businesses out there and just create some stuff, go out, try their food, talk about it. I like to call myself more of a blogger than like a reviewer, like
Yeah.
a blogging or like.
And I think what I really liked when I first discovered your Instagram was that there were a lot of people who go to basically the big restaurants.
Yeah.
By big restaurants, I mean the established
Fancy
ones who
ones.
probably don't
Yeah.
even need that level of. But
Yeah.
you're someone who explores the whole bandwidth.
Yeah,
And
I'd rather go to like a small, even like a roadside shop if
Yeah.
they're selling something.
Yeah, and I appreciate that
Yeah.
because, as you said, I think, the established names have broadsheet and they have all of these other.
Yes.
They don't need any more
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
But the fact that what I appreciate about what you do is that you make an attempt to go and all different kinds of.
And I always
small
go
ones.
back as well.
Yeah.
Like there's this place I love, absolutely love in Houston. It's
Yeah.
called Temperance Society.
Okay.
That is one of my favorite brunch places. I'd gone there to influence at one point, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And ever since, I would just go back to them, and it's just a thing. Like it's our favorite brunch spot.
Yeah.
On a Sunday, we wake up and we go to brunch, for a breakfast at Temperance.
Yeah.
And then like I have my set dumpling places now. Like I love trying dumplings around.
But that's the beauty of Melbourne,
Yes,
right?
I
Like
love
you
it.
have
That's
so
what I'm
much.
saying. That you can just pick from whatever you feel like. It's there for you. I love the melting pot culture here. It's just it's
Absolutely.
my favorite thing about Melbourne.
Do you think it's a little like Mumbai in that sense?
Mumbai is also. I think one thing I loved about Mumbai was people were quite open. Again, yes, melting pot, correct, but I would not compare. Mumbai has been accepting too, but then like there's no comparison. Like Mumbai still has my soul, because you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
Melbourne is like my new life for me, but I cannot compare
Yeah.
to any of these three cities I've lived in. Delhi,
Yeah.
yes, like the whole smoothness of the city, I love. It's very much like Delhi,
Yeah.
but culture-wise, I don't think so.
No,
You
yeah,
think?
fair enough. No, I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
Mumbai is more fast-paced.
Yes,
and
very
everything
fast.
is very turbocharged.
Yeah, but
and
if you say like a
but
melting
just purely
pot,
from melting pot,
yes,
because
that's
there's
true.
everyone from the entire country.
But you
some
know what
vicinity
happens
there.
in Mumbai? Wherever you're from, you melt there. Like it's
You
like
become a part of
become
it.
a part of it. But
Yeah.
your
You retain it.
Mumbaiker rises from there.
Yes.
So like I've lived all my life in Delhi,
Yeah.
but I have a little bit of Mumbaiker in me now. Like I'm a vada pav girl now,
Interesting you say
and
that.
I love my chole bhature. It's a different emotion altogether, but I absolutely miss all the bhaji paos, vada paos of the world, and then like the fast-paced auto life in Mumbai. I think Mumbai is one of the best cities in the world to live for women's safety perspective.
Yeah, yeah. Now that I agree. I
It
think
never sleeps. It really never sleeps.
no, that absolutely. I think Mumbai is interesting. It has some little bit of New York in it in terms of the high energy. But I think to
Yeah.
your point that you raised, that once you there, a Mumbaiker comes
Yeah.
in you. I feel like that for Melbourne because
Yeah.
since I've been here in Melbourne, I feel like I'm a Melburnian.
That-
that sense of
That happens too.
pride and belonging that I
Yeah.
get from this city.
Yeah.
I don't get it anywhere else in the world. Of
Yeah.
course, I'm born and raised in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
It's a different thing, but no, I think
None?
for me,
Yeah.
it's.
I
all
think
regardless.
Melbourne does that to you as well.
That's that. All right, now we're going to play a fun game.
Yes. So.
It's a little bit. So I'm going to ask you what we call the diffuse tense. I'm going to ask you 10 questions, and you have to answer pretty quickly.
Oh, is it coffee with
No, it's not. This is our own thing.
coffee with wig?
Oh God, no! Nothing more dreadful than that. All right, are you ready? I have to read my own handwriting now. Okay. If you had 3 dinner party guests dead or alive, whom would you invite?
Anyone from the world, yeah.
Anyone from the world, yes.
Yeah. I'll have Aditya Roy Kapoor.
Of course.
I absolutely love Aditya Roy Kapoor.
I hope your husband's watching.
Oh,
and
he
listening.
loves him too. He has to. Of course, he hates him. Like that's his way of saying it.
I'm joking. Yeah.
No, no. I've sort of really liked. I'm just thinking of people that I've read about in past few years. I like Dan Andrews a lot.
Okay.
Like I just like I don't know.
So
I
Aditya
don't
Roy
know why
Kapoor
did
and Dan Andrews.
you said
okay.
3 people.
Yeah.
Three
No, it's
mix.
interesting. It's a very varied.
Yeah, because
like now North Pole, South Pole.
yeah, I just said because who 3 people? Like
Yeah.
if you think about their strategies and stuff, people
Yeah.
hate Dan Andrews, but I just think he's done a few good things.
Okay.
In the time I was here.
Fair
so like
enough.
that's just my own personal thing. And then I absolutely love Sushmita Sen.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, I can do that again if you want. Like if you didn't wanted me to.
No. We don't want to do that. That's absolutely fine.
Oh no, like I think I go by her, how she carries herself.
Yeah.
I've always followed her as a little girl.
Yeah.
I had the chance to meet her as well, and I've taken that little.
She has a lot of dignity.
Oh, I just love.
Absolutely.
I think the way she carries herself is just amazing.
No, agree.
Like I'm a fan.
No, agree.
Yeah.
What's the best thing about being married to an Australian?
I don't know about him being Australian. It's just the best thing about being married to Shane
Okay.
is
The fact that he's Australian is just a fact.
Yeah. That's, I would more consider him Swiss than Australian because the cultural wise, like he's more on the Swiss side of things.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's just he completes me.
3 things that you learned from your husband about Australia or Switzerland or whatever.
3 things I learned from him about Australia. Yeah, just go with the flow. Don't take things too personally here, or like being more practical is what I've learned from him, and everything has a solution.
That's good.
Yes.
What are 3 things you have taught of your husband about India?
About India, be respectful to people. Just absolutely love the food.
Yeah.
And say namaste to whoever's house you go.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, if there's an India versus Australia cricket match, which team are you going to support?
Of course, India. You haven't seen I think we did this little banter reel where I didn't feed my husband for 2 days. I took his food plate and I said, "You don't get any food if you don't support Australia. You don't support India." Of course, Australia won.
Yeah.
But of course.
If you had to have a biopic made on your life, which actor or actress would you like to play the roles of you and your husband?
My best friend, Mrinal Thakur can play Ananya.
She's a good actress.
Yeah. Oh, she's
fantastic.
amazing. And she's played Ananya in life also.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, it's one of the films she
I loved her. She was in that with Dulkar, Sita Raman.
Yes, that's one of my favorite films.
She was phenomenal.
Absolutely.
In that. Yeah.
Yes. And Shane. Who can play Shane? Anyone. Shane can play Shane. No, he can't.
He could.
He could.
He could.
He acts. I've seen his little drama side now after he's lived with me.
Okay.
So which sort of like he balances out.
Okay. So if you had to choose between a chicken parmesan or a vada pav.
Vada pav.
Okay. That was yeah.
Then I'm a palmy girl as well. Like I absolutely love my palmies. We go for palmy nights all the time. But our pub nights are a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite holiday destination?
Favorite holiday destination anywhere in the world?
Yeah, anywhere in the world.
Kisol, India.
That's good. And your favorite restaurant in Melbourne, the one that you have been?
Restaurant or any spot?
Restaurant, cafe, brunch place, whatever.
Temperance Society.
Temperance Society.
Favorite.
And in the next 3 years, Ananya will be, finish the sentence.
In the next 3 years, Ananya will be enjoying her life in Melbourne.
See, that's a great answer. That's a fantastic answer. Well, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for doing
Thanks
this.
for having me.
And congratulations on everything that you've achieved. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, slowly getting there one day at a time, I think.
Oh, look, where you've look how far you've come. So I think it's important to celebrate.
While I was talking to you today, it felt like, I was like, it's been a journey now. It's been 4 years.
There you go. See?
Like almost around the same time I got stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 2000.
Yes.
Sorry, in 2020, 2000.
Yeah,
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
So now, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
you've coming so far, and
Thanks for
I
having
keep
me.
doing the great content
Yes.
that you keep
You
doing.
do. You do. I absolutely love what you're doing as well.
Thank you.
Maybe
And
let's talk Melbourne soon.
yeah, because I think it's my deliberate attempt to showcase Indian Melburnians.
Yes.
I think it's important that we give them, we all support each other and platform each other, because ultimately it's a good thing to do, I guess. So no, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on the pod, and I hope you come back at some point in the future.
I think we should do something again.
Definitely,
In the near future.
we should do that. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye. Bye.